Previously on Libel the Bible.
Yahweh creates everything.
Yahweh kills everything.
Yahweh makes a promise.
Israelite men mutilate their genitals.
The Egyptians enslave Yahweh's chosen people.
Yahweh kills Egyptians.
And Israelites and Canaanites and really anyone else that annoys him.
We had talking donkeys.
Radioactive facilities.
A lot of rules to obey.
A lot of punishments for rule breaking.
Wars.
More wars.
Sex.
Drugs.
And ram's horn music.
We had a bunch of judges.
Some gate stealing.
An incompetent king.
An overconfident Philistine giant.
A plucky underdog warrior.
And the Bible's first gay romance.
David's son Absalom betrays him.
After getting stuck in a tree, he becomes a human pincushion.
As with every other relationship he's been in, Yahweh gets bored with David and conspires against him.
And now, 1 Kings on Libel the Bible.
What's up?
What is going on? I am Scott, the sovereign of Sin City. Oh, you like that, right?
That was pretty good. And I am Rusty, the dork in New York.
Nice. I was going to say the Sultan of Sin City, but that is like a religious overtone, right?
While sultans typically were like the dictators of Muslim countries.
Yeah. And we don't want to offend anybody like that. Yo, man, this Audacity freaking recording level still keeps adjusting itself. All right. So we got a very unique episode here, man. We're not together. The first time we're doing an episode not together.
That's right. Scott is in Vegas. I am back in New York. And by the way, do we say I'm Rusty and you are...
I just said the freaking sovereign of Sin City, man.
Yeah, but you didn't say I'm Scott and I didn't say I'm Rusty and we didn't say this is Libel the Bible. Is this what happens? You go to Vegas and we just abandon all tradition?
I don't know. I'm going to have to listen to that back. I thought that was all said, man.
All right.
But this is Libel the Bible, and I think we did this, man. I feel like we did this.
Well, this is our first remote recording, and it is going swimmingly well thus far.
Yeah, I guess. All right, so yeah, I'm in Vegas. I got some work out here for my real job. I am supporting the Las Vegas Grand Prix Formula One race. Should be a whole lots of excitement going on here.
So you are in charge of the technology and things like that, right?
I would hardly call me in charge.
You're working around the technology, right?
If you mean, am I the one that's going to get fired when the shit goes south? Then absolutely. But am I in charge? I think not. My paycheck does not dictate that I'm in charge.
They sent you as the scapegoat. They knew shit was going to go wrong. They were like...
yeah. I don't want to give away too many details.
Because you replaced someone,
here,
right?
Yeah, I replaced people that quit and or got fired. There was a whole purging of people at this location.
And or disappeared.
Yeah. Hey, so does the Audacity slider move if it detects it's clipping? Is that what's going on? Maybe that's what's going on here.
I have no idea, Scott.
Who cares? Our fans don't need to hear that. It'll be fixed in post.
No, it won't. This is what they're going to get.
There is no post because there's no money in the budget for post.
Yeah, listen. What they hear is what they get. That's pretty much the effort that we are expecting to put in. Yeah. So how's it been out there?
I got to tell you, so I've been here for a couple of weeks now. I flew down with the expectations of lots of excitement, lots of shows, a lot of good eating, probably getting a lot of drinking going on, and there's been none of that shit, man. It's been 16-hour work days. Some of them are 18 hours. I literally get back to my hotel room and collapse.
Why?
Today's actually the first day that I've had any free time.
Why are you working such long hours?
Because it's a shit show out here. It's a huge footprint, the size of the racetrack. Plus, we're in communications, so it's just a lot of spots that have to be taken care of, and nobody to do it except me. So I'm doing a lot of run around between locations, and
What?
I'm doing a lot of logistical shit.
Why can they not hire more people to do the work that obviously requires more people to do the work?
I don't know. I don't know if they got caught flat-footed when this happened, or they didn't. Maybe they underestimated the amount of work. I'm not really sure, man. I'm sure there's going to be a big get together when this is all over to find out like what could have been done better.
The more we talk about your job in the company you work for, the more I wonder whether we shouldn't talk about it on the air. You know what I'm saying?
No, we should. No, that's why I don't want to give any clues, no details. All
right. So,
and my company's playing a very pivotal role here. So if like what we do fails, trust me, the world will know it.
Yes.
I mean, the racing world will know it.
Yes.
I've never actually seen one of these races. You're into Formula One, right? You got into that shit?
This is my third season where I'm watching it, and I pretty much watch like every race. I watch pretty much every qualifying. I've watched a good amount of practices that they have. So it's like a whole race weekend, It's like it leads up to the race on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because they're not allowed to like practice their cars. So they have to like get out on the track, see what the track's about, analyze like a whole bunch of like data on their computers in order to know what kind of things to put onto the car. Like, does it need this wing, that wing? What tires work best? What suspension works best? It's like all this technical like shit, and each track is like different.
It kind of reminds me of like when you used to play like the driving games in the arcades and you used to finish and you got to choose like to upgrade your tires or your engine.
Right.
Or you remember that?
Sure,
Cool.
Sure. I never got good enough to really like get way into it.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, what they're literally doing is transforming the streets of Las Vegas into a racetrack. And
it's called the street circuit.
Local. Is that what it's called?
A street circuit.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the locals are not happy about it. I know a lot of the hospitality workers and taxi workers are using this event for leverage in their negotiations, like threatening strikes and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
And from what I understand, a lot of the hospitality workers, they settled. So, hey, listen, rightfully so. It's a good time to shove it down, the man's throat.
And this is because it cuts off like major arteries for them, like for commuting.
Well, a lot of people, all they were doing was complaining about the traffic. And coming from New York, as soon as I got in the cab at the airport, the guy was like, "Oh, I can't take you there. That's in the zone." I was like, "What do you mean, so?" "Oh, the traffic's too bad. I won't make any money." I was like, "Dude, then drop me off and I'll get into another cab." He's like, "Nah, man, I got you. I'll get you there. He's pushing for a big tip. It took me 15 minutes to get from the airport to my hotel room.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we weren't doing 70, but the dude never stopped.
Yeah.
He's like, you see this bullshit?
Yeah.
You see this bullshit?
It takes like 15 minutes to get from a terminal at JFK to the Van Wyck.
Right? It's ridiculous. I literally can see JFK Airport from my house, and it takes me a half hour to get there. So, but now they are doing some pretty major street closures. I got to tell you, it's going to look like a video game, man. But you've seen this before, so you've seen city racing before. I've never seen it.
Yeah, like they have like Singapore. They have like a night race in Singapore. That's like pretty cool because Singapore is like a really modern looking city with like big towers and lights, So when they're racing there at night, it's cool.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it a little bit, or I'm going to sleep through it because it'll be. I can't sleep through it, obviously, because I got to be ready to move in an emergency. But, yeah, it should be interesting. So when did you become a redneck getting into this racing shit, man?
So we had this conversation already. It's not really rednecky.
Yeah, but the fans didn't have
Formula One is actually, it's rich people that participate in Formula One. It's far from rednecky.
All right. So what's rednecky? Stock cars?
Yes, NASCAR is like rednecky because it's like its origins are in bootlegging. So when they used to like bootleg, whiskey during Prohibition, that's like the origin of NASCAR.
Nice.
When they used to like run from the law.
Nice.
Or like, their dad after he caught them banging their sister, something like that. I don't know.
Nah, there's the redneck twist.
Yeah.
Yeehaw. So if I seem a little down tempo tonight, it's because today is literally the first day I've had any time to myself, and I used it to go to Meow Wolf. I know you've been to the one in New Mexico.
Yes, as have you.
Yes, as I have, as have I.
Sure, either one.
So I was really looking forward. They have one in Las Vegas. I was really looking forward to it. So I went today, and I was a little disappointed, man. I definitely felt the New Mexico one was much cooler.
Yeah,
But just my opinion.
But also, you have to take into consideration your circumstance. You're in Vegas. You're pretty much by yourself. You're tired. You've been working 18-hour days, as you say.
Mostly 16. Only the one 18.
Okay, it's mostly 16. Still, that's a lot. That's a tremendous amount. It's like double shifts every day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, I could see why going by yourself to something like that, it's a different vibe. It's like going to the movies by yourself,
I've never felt so friendless in my life, man. It was really depressing, actually. I don't recommend that place, man. It's very depressing.
Meow Wolf by yourself. Yes, you have no one to commiserate with. You have no one to turn to and say, yo, look at this. This is fucking cool. Was it different, though? Like, were the displays different? Was the thing different? Or was it the same thing?
Yeah. It was, the one in New Mexico was it was a house that got ripped in the space-time continuum and all that.
That was
this
like the
one
backstory that you had to, like, figure out.
Yeah, this was a supermarket. Like you actually walk in, it's like maybe like 8 aisles of like supermarket stuff, and every single product on the shelf is like something weird.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you can buy all these things when you
something
go on the shelves.
Like a foot in a mouth.
Yeah, it's just every product had a weird name or a punny name.
Okay,
it was just goofy shit, man. And then, of course, you walk through the freezer, and all of a sudden you're in some crazy world where they're trying to leave your bodies behind.
What's the matter? My place stink? That's right, it stinks. I don't know. You mentioned walking into a freezer. My mind went to like Rocky when he was like pounding the meat, with his fists. And then he had like the big fight with Paulie at his apartment. He was like, what's the matter? My place stinks? That's right, it stinks. And then he starts punching.
He had that fight with Mickey, man. That was Mickey.
What did I say?
Paulie.
Oh, no. I absolutely, in my head, I saw Mickey. I don't know why I said Paulie.
Yeah.
Oh, what? You want to check my fucking Rocky bona fides?
Listen, man. You have such high scores on a lot of other things. We'll let you like have some low scores on some other shit, man.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
It was a faux pas, actually. It was not like a... It's not like a... whatever, man. Who cares? Man, I'm tired.
So, So, everyone in the audience, we're about 11 minutes into recording, and like we're doing our best. We really are. It's our first time, like not being in the same room while we're recording. Scott's tired. Like I'm in an apartment with like people, so I'm like trying to keep it like a little lower than I normally would. So this is what you get right now. This is what you get. And if you don't like it, what should they do, Scott, if they don't like it? What do you think?
Fuck off, really, man. I hate to sound like you, but at this point, I'm like, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying here.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
I lost some sleep, between the COVID and the hiatus and then this unexpected trip to Vegas, man. They're not getting anything.
Yes. We are just...
They should be very grateful for this.
We are just two middle-aged white men doing their best right now, all right?
Which usually gets middle-aged white men, pretty far in life, but not so much us in this situation.
Yeah, we're beat down. So, by the way, the thing that's happening now is I should turn down the volume on my phone. The thing that's happening now is TikTok is being filled with videos of people confronting the people who are taking down the posters of like the kidnapped like Israeli children. So for those that don't know, people are putting up like posters of kidnapped Israeli children and maybe even like other people, relatives, this, that. And other people all over the world are like ripping down the posters with the argument that this is just propaganda. They don't deny that that these particular people on the posters have been kidnapped, but they're saying the purpose of putting up the posters is propaganda, and they're starting to rip them down. So what's going on now is these people are being confronted and taped while they're doing it. And the people taping them are constantly asking them, like, why are you doing this? These are like real people, like that you're tearing down. And usually there's like no response. But here's the point. Mm-hmm. The people who are tearing down these posters, right? This is the generation of people who began to dox anyone who they felt crossed a particular red line, and they canceled them. They made sure to cancel those particular people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now the same thing is happening to them. So these people that are taking down posters now are being doxxed, and like they are losing employment and things like that.
Wow.
Because they're like taking down like these like posters, you know? So like the irony of they are the ones who trendsetted basically the whole like cancel culture thing, and now it is being used against them. So this is like an interesting development that has occurred like over the past like week and a half or so.
I was actually going to ask you like what's going on in the world, because obviously I'm not really paying attention to it. I'm paying attention to even less than I did. So let's break that down. So how do you feel? Is people putting up posters of kidnapped Israelis on a, let's say, a signpost in Albuquerque? Is it nothing but propaganda? I mean, we're acknowledging they're real people, but isn't it propaganda? Like, what is somebody in Albuquerque going to do in regards to that person being kidnapped? Like, they're not going to be on the lookout for them.
Right. So I'm going to say some people are 100% putting it up for propaganda. Some people are putting it up for awareness, like simple awareness, like this is what's going on. So while you're seeing the news and you're seeing like all of these like free Palestine protests, you know, this is what's happening too. Like these children are missing and they were kidnapped by Hamas, which is the ruling government of, you know, Gaza, the free Palestine. So, you know, I would like to see what would happen if some of these people who are marching for free Palestine got their wish and there was a free Palestine. I would like to see if they would be accepted in that free Palestinian state that they envision. You know what I mean?
So wait. So you think people that are protesting for a free Palestine, if that came to fruition, that free Palestine would not accept these very people that are protesting for a free Palestine?
Obviously not all of the people that are protesting, but a vast majority of the people who are protesting. I would say a vast majority of the people who are protesting have a good heart and their heart's in the right place. They're just not that bright, or they're not that informed. And so they're really, you know, they're following other people without, it's an echo chamber, it's a bubble, you know, whatever you want to call it. And then the argument against anyone else is, well, it's not nuanced. There can be no argument against this. And that's sort of like already, so you have no grounds to say anything anymore, because no matter what you say, you know, it doesn't count. But again, they typically lean left, you know, and so these people would not be accepted in a free Palestine.
That's kind of would that be the definition of irony?
That would be irony, yes.
Yay, we got a free Palestinian state, and now I'm going to get beheaded if I try and like live there.
Yes. So like there was some woman, she's a human rights lawyer, and she was leading a protest in New York over this past weekend, I think. And she was like screaming through the megaphone about how like the Palestinian freedom fighters, how it's an honor to like martyr yourself and this and this and this. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I wonder how a free Palestine would treat a woman with so many opinions who's screaming them in public to other people. You know what I mean? Like, how would this woman be treated in a free Palestine? And I don't know. I'm just asking the question, you know? The fact that you're laughing, you know, indicates something. And the fact that maybe someone else in the audience is laughing at that also indicates something that we all know, but a lot of us will fail to acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, these fucking countries do not treat people well that do not conform to like strict like Muslim fucking Sharia law.
Well, I hope that woman has some scheduled time on our schedule open for her honor killing that she's going to have.
Right. I hope she's ready for her circumcision.
So do you think most of the people that are like for, instead of being pro-free Palestine, they're just using those rallies as to like get at Israel? Right? It's more of an anti-Israel rally than a pro-Palestine rally.
I think that has a lot to do with it, because Israel does act in a very atrocious manner. It is foul how they behave towards Palestinians, the racism that is aimed at them, undeniable. So there's definitely that faction that's like the anti-Zionist faction, that wants to just dismantle the state of Israel. But then on top of that, I think there's also a large element of anti-Semitism. Some of it is overt, it's just an undeniable anti-Semitism. Sure. A lot of it is unconscious Semitism. I think people unconsciously have a bias against Jews, that people who would say they're progressive and, act progressive in many ways and vote progressive, but there's a subconscious bias against Jewish people because only 1% of the world is Jews. But I don't hear any other group talked about as much as Jewish people. There's commercials devoted to not beating on Jews now on TV. You know what I mean?
I don't mean to laugh.
It's we're 1% of the population. You know what I mean? And we are talked about disproportionately. And so I think there's a lot of that too, subconscious. So I think all of that wrapped into one. It's no one answer, why.
Yeah. What I don't like to hear is when if someone's protesting, I don't know, maybe the Israeli Defense Force pancaking an apartment building that was full of people, with a couple of munitions and a couple of airstrikes, being opposed to that and then being called an anti-Semite because you were opposed to dropping an apartment building on somebody.
Right, that's a problem too. The problem, absolutely, from the Jewish side is a lot of organizations will label you an anti-Semite if you don't fully stand behind what Israel is doing, and that's despicable. That's despicable as well. So don't get me wrong, there's both sides are despicable, you know what I mean? But I'm going to tell you this. I don't see Jewish people committing hate crimes. I don't see it. Regular, I'm not talking about the state of Israel. I'm talking about this country. Whenever I hear as a result of what's going on in Israel, there was a hate crime, I'm never oh no, did a Jew attack someone? No, it's always the Jew getting attacked. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
We have a different breed of Jews here. If we transported the Jews from Israel to America and some redneck was hey, Jew boy, that Jew boy with fucking, has got Mossad training, they would fuck that redneck up.
So most of the Israeli population is required to have military service, right? Between certain ages?
18, yeah. Not most. I think 18. I don't want to bet on it, but yes, maybe 16, maybe 17. I don't know what it is. But at some point, all Israeli citizens, yes, are drafted into the army. Thanks. Women, men.
Except for the rich kids and the kids of politicians.
I don't know about that, but probably yes, because I know that, what's his name? Ariel Sharon's son right now, he's there's pictures of him on vacation, but I don't know if that's propaganda or if that's real. But it wouldn't shock me if it's real.
Yeah.
Everything could be propaganda at this point.
They'd be chilling on the beach with Chris Christie's family during the lockdown.
Yes. Remember that photo? That's great.
Hey, so now to pivot into American politics, I saw just snippets of the Republican debates. Mm-hmm. And I never thought I would say this. Chris Christie sounds like a completely rational human being when you listen to everybody else he talks on that stage.
Mm-hmm. He's a Northeast Republican, people don't get elected in the Northeast. And by Northeast, what am I talking about? I'm talking about New York, Boston, and I guess by extension, New Jersey to some extent, Yeah. So he's a Northeast Republican, and they don't get elected unless they're somewhat reasonable. Northeast Republicans get elected in order to not raise taxes, and that's it. No one's yeah, we don't want abortion. No one's saying any of that, So they're much more reasonable.
You know what I like about people that don't care about abortion? No, that's it. I just like people that don't care about abortion because it ain't your fucking business.
I think you can have a personal opinion about abortion. You can say, yo, sure, man, that thing is a life, and that's abhorrent to fucking end it. But you can't like fucking tell other people they can't do that shit because it ain't your fucking business.
Just like we can't tell people not to believe in God. We can't, we can't tell them to do that.
I think
don't believe in God.
Well, I'm gonna tell. Well, yeah, I don't care. People can believe whatever they want to believe, but I'm gonna present my opinion.
Yeah, good thing we had this place to do that, man.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I had a friend that used to live back in Queens years ago. He moved out to Arizona. We're friends on Facebook. We haven't been like close in any stretch of the imagination. And him and his wife were in Vegas over the last couple of days. So I was able to break away and have a quick meal with them.
That's cool.
A couple of days ago. And he knows you, man. His name is Kenny. I'll just say that. I don't know if you remember Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about the old days. Told him me and you had a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He was quick to write it down.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of the same opinions about stuff as we do.
Yeah.
So we'll check it out. So we might have got. I came to Vegas, man, to recruit one listener, man. Yeah. That's the fucking dedication I have to this podcast.
Did this guy used to like hang out at our apartment?
No, I don't think. No, I don't
Not
think
that
so.
Kenny.
He was trying to think there was another Kenny.
That's all right.
I don't know. Maybe he did. Who cares? Just say.
Okay.
So you were mentioned in Vegas, man.
All right.
All right.
I don't know how to take that, but okay, thank you, I guess. Thank you.
Take it as one more listener, and when he gets up to episode 92, hopefully he appreciates it and spreads the word.
Oh, he's going to start at the beginning, you think? How would you? What would you recommend to people? You know what I mean? Like
I actually said, and I probably shouldn't have done this. I was like, listen. Because we look back at older stuff. It's like any TV series you watch where it doesn't hit the ground running too smoothly. You go back 7 years and you see how the show has matured and the acting's improved and everything about the show has gotten better. So I told him that I was like, listen, man, if you start at the beginning, understand we were new to this, all that, blah, blah, blah. I would recommend you start around, in the 70s, I think is when we really hit our stride. It only took like a year and a quarter to like hit our stride, but and then go back. I don't want you turned off by the first couple of episodes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Of course, man.
No, that's it's a line from that movie, The Dude.
Right.
Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a famous meme, too. Like if somebody says something, you post like that meme. It's like, that's just like your opinion, man. You want to get into the Bible?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, we're starting a new.
I gotta tell you,
book,
man. I gotta tell you. I feel like every time you ask that, or I ask you the same question, it's always like a, yeah, all right. Like if we, we're not gonna have people excited about this if we're not excited about it anymore, man.
I think you're looking at it incorrectly. I think that tonight we might not be as excited about it. But I think like situationally, we're situationally appropriately excited.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
I mean, like, look at you.
Man. We're starting a new chapter,
like
right?
in a depressing. You know what? I'm gonna take a photo of you, bro. Right, and then I'm gonna post it. There's a subreddit where people post. You can take pictures of your hotel room and you post it to this website that looks for child sex traffickers. So like, no, listen, it's brilliant. You stay in a motel room. You fucking.
Hold on a second. Little Bobby, shut up. I'm on the air.
So you stay in a motel room or a hotel room. You take photos of it. And then they match up those photos against like images that they see. Like,
okay.
What are you laughing at? This is like one of the saddest things in the world, that they have to have a database of people that send in like photos of hotel rooms so they can scour and match up like paintings and like lamps so they can fucking look at like awful fucking images of children in order to like match up and locate where this hotel is so they can try and like track down like sex trafficking rings. They have like this database exists. This is the world we live in. Free Palestine, though, because that's what's trendy.
Did they ever call you back when you went on an interview for that job? Because looking at those awful pictures.
That's fucking gross, man. All right.
So I'm gonna tell you this. Actually, the hotel I'm at, no, it's not. The room's not that bad. It's
Stop for a second.
Like a corner.
Stop for a second. Yeah. Think about what I just said. Okay, the whole thing. You just said something to the akin of like, that reminds me, the hotel that I'm in right now. All right, now please continue.
Well, you say it's a depressing room. It's a little. It's got the 2 queen beds. I got a full kitchen. I got a stove, a microwave, a refrigerator that has completely 0 things in it.
And this is the background that you chose to show me. I'm staring at like a white.
It's got a big desk, and this is where the desk is. It's like a business type hotel. It's not like I'm not like the Bellagio, or a Caesars or anything.
You should have set up like in the casino. You could have live streamed from like. And then when security showed up, you could have been like, "Nah, it's cool, I'm streaming."
So I'll tell you this: this hotel does not have a bar, restaurant, or casino in it.
Yeah.
It's strictly like long stay business kind of shit. So whatever. Next time I'm coming out, because I'm going to be probably coming out to Vegas on a regular basis, even after the Formula One.
Geez, Scott, you don't have to bring this much energy to the show, like that deep sigh, like you sound like Eeyore.
Eeyore. All right.
So
we're on a new chapter of the Bible. New chapter. First Kings.
Not
it's
new.
Another
no,
freaking
bro. Not new chapter.
New book.
New book.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're in a new book.
It took me a long time until I worked. Me and you did some very important security work back at the U.S. Open. That's when I learned about like games, matches, and sets. Mm-hmm. That always confused me. So like Bible verse chapters and books always confused me too. So I'm getting a handle on that, man.
So we are starting with 1 Kings 1. And Scott, would you like to begin the latest journey of Libel the Bible?
All right, 1 Kings 1.
Do it NPR style. Do that. You do know NPR style?
Dude, I'll put myself to sleep, man.
Right. And the audience and me.
Yeah. I literally woke up like 1 minute before we started this podcast today.
I couldn't tell.
The struggle for the succession. 1 Kings 1. King David was old and advanced in years, and although they covered him in clothes, he could not get warm. So his servant said to him, "Let a young virgin be sought for my lord the king, and let her wait on the king and be his attendant. Let her lie in your bosom, so that my lord the king may be warm."
You think?
So they searched for a beautiful young woman.
You think David was like one of those like tenants because he's like cold, is constantly calling up like the landlord, like Yahweh, and he's like, "Yo, man, it's fucking cold. When is the heat gonna be on?" And Yahweh's like, "It's gotta drop below 50 before I turn the heat on," Like, and it's like,
no, there's laws, man. October 1st, we get control of the thermostat, man.
He's like constantly fucking calling.
So they searched for a beautiful young woman throughout all the territory of Israel and found Abishag, or Abishag, the Shunammite, and brought her to the king. The young woman was very beautiful. She became the king's attendant and served him, but the king did not know her sexually. Okay. So they found some young, beautiful virgin to tend to the king. Mm-hmm. Why did she have to be young, beautiful, or a virgin if her job was just to keep him warm? And he apparently had no intention. There was no sexuality behind it.
Well, he needs to lie with a woman to keep him warm, right? He's probably like old and frail, so like he's not getting erect. Like, Viagra hasn't been invented yet. None of these Cialis hasn't been invented yet. Cialis or Cialis? Cialis. Like penile implants haven't been invented yet. Like none of the things, Tabasco in the asshole wasn't invented yet. None of the things that get you rock hard.
Whoa, let's pause. What is this Tabasco in the asshole you speak of?
I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't know how much more you need me to explain.
Sometimes I feel like it's coming out of my asshole after some of the joints I've eaten since I've been here.
Vegas is supposed to have some of the best food.
Unfortunately, seriously, not this whole woe is me thing, but like I haven't had a chance. Like I had a couple sit down meals, but for the first week and a half, it was literally food on the run constantly. I didn't have a vegetable for like 9 days.
You got to treat yourself, man. You got to go and treat yourself.
Man. It's just hard, man. It's just hard. But like I said, hopefully things are chilling out a little bit. But the ramp up to the race now, I'm sure everybody's gonna be on pins and needles.
So anyway,
but back to
the virgin and all that. It's because she's going to lie with him. He's not going to get like erect because he's old and frail. And like, she's like a virgin. So she's going to stay a virgin so she can, I don't know. Bro, man, I don't know. Sometimes, like, I start
man,
making bullshit up, like, about the Bible, and I realize how stupid it is. I don't know.
Well, listen, the guy who's hiring the woman obviously is looking for that criteria because he knows the king's not going to get it up, and he's going to be, like, gawking her at the office all day long. You know, fucking like you said, sexual harassment hasn't been invented yet. I mean, rules against it haven't been invented yet. So,
So, Scott, so I see.
Yeah,
I see. I like the way you think, Scott. You think like the guy.
Oh, by the
you
way,
think like the guy that went out and hired that virgin.
Listen, if I'm in the position of power, come on.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Oh, my buddy actually asked me if, like, we read the Bible on the air, and I was like, at first we didn't. That was like the whole point. We weren't going to, but then we found it was just as effective and maybe better in some ways if we read it on the air. All right, 1 Kings 5. Now, Adonijah, son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I will be king. He prepared for himself chariots and horsemen, and 50 men to run before him. His father had never at any time reprimanded him by saying, Why have you done this and
By
so?
asking. That's all right.
By asking,
Yeah,
yes. Why have you done this and so? He was also a very handsome man, and he was born next after Absalom. He can, wait a minute.
This is one of David's sons, born to Haggith.
Oh, and his father had never reprimanded him, meaning David had never reprimanded him.
I think
Okay.
Haggith, if my memory serves me right, I could be wrong, though, because who knows. Haggith is the woman who confronted David when he came back from something, and she was like, I'm never going to have sex with you again. And then, like, you remember that? Like, they exchanged words.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
For some reason, I thought Haggith was a man's name. I don't know why. They should have put, like, pronouns.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong, man.
Who cares, man?
Let's just plow through it.
He conferred with Joab, son of Zeruiah, and with the priest Abiathar. He's still alive? These guys are still alive?
I don't even remember
And they
these
supported
names. Joab, I remember. Well, it's his son. Joab.
and Abiathar, I remember.
Joab, son. That's right. All right. Maybe are we time jumping?
And I don't know. And they supported Adonijah, but the priest Zadok and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, and the prophet Nathan and Shammah and his companions, David's own warriors, did not side with Adonijah. All right, so
they couldn't recruit David's people to their side. Is that what's going on? Like they're trying to gather
there's
people
already
for
a rift
coup?
starting. Well, you know what? Maybe not a coup. Maybe they realized the king is close to death, and there's got to be a successor. So they're not looking to overthrow anybody. They're just going to let him, take his time and die while they work out the particulars.
So this piece of shit.
The book?
No. Adoniah. All right, this piece of shit Adoniah, right? He's going totally against what Yahweh wants. Like Yahweh, the whole point isn't like to win rule through killing other fucking Israelites. It's like who is closer to the divine, who is living, who is on the path of the divine, who has not strayed from the teachings of Yahweh, the laws of Israel. And like this guy's a fucking piece of shit. He's going about it in an earthly way.
I like the fact that you pronounce his name completely different than me. Like, your pronunciation makes sense. Mine was different all 3 times I read it. All right, so Adoniah sacrificed sheep, oxen, and fatted cattle by the stone Zoheleth, which is besides Enrogel. And he invited all his brothers, the king's sons, and all the royal officers of Judah. But he did not invite the prophet Nathan, or Benaiah, or the warriors, or his brother Solomon. Well, why should he? They weren't supporting him. Then Nathan said to Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, have you not heard that Adoniah, son of Haggith, has become king, and our Lord David does not know it? Whoa. All right. Now therefore come, let me give you advice, so that you may save your own life and the life of your son Solomon. Go in at once to King David and say to him, did you not, my lord the king, swear to your servant, saying, your son Solomon shall succeed me as king?
Okay, I'm sorry.
And he shall sit on my throne?
Stop for 1 second. Yeah. Solomon. We read, there was a book of Solomon, wasn't there?
No, it was the book of Samuel.
But Solomon was, in the beginning of the book. He's like that dude that, the mom, gave to the priest. And then Solomon and Yahweh conspired together and anointed that guy as the first king, the guy that David like ran from, that David and that guy's son were in love. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man.
I mean, it vaguely sounds familiar, but as far as putting the names together like that,
It vaguely sounds
Dude,
familiar. The guy that used to like shoot the bows and arrows at David all the time and constantly miss him. Saul.
Spears.
His name was Saul. So Saul was like the good-looking guy.
there you go.
Saul was the good-looking guy that Yahweh chose to have to be king, because all the Israelites were like, we want a king, and then Yahweh was like, these motherfucking pieces of shit. So Solomon was like, whoa, dude, let's like, fuck it, they want a king, let's fucking give him a king, let's give him this fucking jackass, you know. And then they made like fucking Saul the first king.
Seriously, I think we need to like take a wall of the studio and like set it up with like names on it and like relationships and arrows and pins and strings and all that, because I got to tell you, man, some people might actually be coming to us for Bible knowledge, and we're into our 92nd episode here, and I'm hardly a subject matter expert on this fucking book.
I know what you need,
because I can't recall and remember anything, man.
You need anchor charts. I'm gonna put together some anchor charts for you. You know what an anchor chart is?
Corporate of you. Not really.
You said,
and by not really, I mean no. I don't know what it is.
You said corporate of me?
Yeah.
It's actually from the education world. So an anchor chart is, as you're going through like a particular unit of study, you put up like all of like the main points on like these big chart paper, and then you put it on the wall. So like at any given time, like you can look up on the wall and you're like immersed in that particular unit. You know, you can pull information like really quickly about what you're discussing.
Okay, nice.
So I'll do that.
Like flashcards?
But like on a giant level, yes. And organized.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I can't see very well.
So we can have like a timeline, you know, like Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Go in at once to King David and say to him, did you not, my lord the king,
where are
swear
you?
to your servant? Verse 13.
Verse 13. So for those of you reading along.
Your son Solomon shall succeed me as king, and he shall sit on my throne. Why then is Adoniah, say his name.
Adoniah.
Adoniah king. Then why then is Adoniah king? Then while you are still there speaking with the king, I will come in after you and confirm your words. Oh, so they're realizing David's just like, he's either going senile or he just doesn't listen to people.
Yeah, he's just like,
so they're back in the story.
He's rotting away in bed. So Bathsheba went to the king in his room. The king was very old. Abishag, the Shunammite, was attending the king. Bathsheba bowed and did obeisance to the king, and the king said, what do you wish? She said to him, my lord, you swore to your servant by the Lord your God, saying, your son Solomon shall succeed me as king, and he shall sit on my throne. But now suddenly Adoniah has become king, though you, my lord the king, do not know it. He has sacrificed oxen, fatted cattle, and sheep in abundance, and has invited all the children of the king, the priest Abiathar, and Joab, the commander of the army. But your servant Solomon he has not invited. But you, my lord the king, the eyes of all Israel are on you to tell them who shall sit on the throne of my lord the king after him. Otherwise it will come to pass, when my lord the king sleeps with his ancestors, that my son Solomon and I will be counted offenders. And then David said, what? Wrong number, who this?
You should be saying, like, how is this guy king? Just because he says he's king? Like he's the king still in the castle or wherever the fuck king sit
Apparently
back
he
then.
has collected all of the powerful people that he needs in order to appoint himself king. It's like a bloodless coup.
I think this guy's got wishful thinking, man. I'm sorry. I think there would be a big story about like everybody secretly turning on David. So I can't believe this.
Maybe it's possible that this woman is just being hysterical and like she's jumping the gun, like assuming all this because she's so concerned for Solomon.
All right, possibly. Let's go.
Or maybe this is in reality what's going on, and we're trying to understand in like our normal human terms, like why this is all happening when in reality these people are obviously insane.
Yeah. Good enough.
While she was still speaking with the king, the prophet Nathan came in. The king was told, "Here is the prophet Nathan." When he came in, when he came in before the king, he did obeisance to the king with his face to the ground. Nathan said, "My lord the king, have you said Adonijah shall succeed me as king, and he shall sit on my throne? For today he has gone down and has sacrificed oxen, fatted cattle, and sheep in abundance, and has invited all the king's children, Joab, the commander of the army, and the priest Abiathar, who are now eating and drinking before him and saying, 'Long live King Adonijah.' But he did not invite me, your servant, and the priest Zadok, and Benaniah, son of Jehoiada, and your servant Solomon. Has this thing been brought about by my lord the king, and you have not let your servants know who should sit on the throne of my lord the king after him?"
All right. So you were right. He does have some pretty important people. He's got weps. The key to the whole thing is weps. You got to get weps.
He's got the commander of the military, and he's got like the high priest.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Good job. Good job.
Of what?
Asshole. I don't like this guy.
Understanding?
Of usurping. No, not you.
Me.
This guy usurping power from the king.
I thought I was an asshole for like understanding. All right. The accession of Solomon. You want to get into it?
1 King 28. King David answered, "Summon Bathsheba to me." So she came into the king's presence and stood before the king. The king swore, saying, "As the Lord lives, who has saved my life from every adversity, as I swore to you by the Lord, the God of Israel, your son Solomon shall succeed me as king, and he shall sit on my throne in my place. So will I do this day." Then Bathsheba bowed with her face to the ground and did obeisance to the king and said, "May my lord King David live forever." Now, she's saying that because she doesn't want Solomon to be king. She's like, "You will live forever, man. This fuck off should not be king, man."
I don't know. Is he even in a position to like make any promises? He seems pretty frail.
So wait. Was David the first king? Like the first legit king?
David was the first king that Yahweh wanted to be king. Saul was kind of like he made him a king in order to like teach the Israelites a lesson not to wish for a king.
Right. Okay. All right. So he's the second king. Okay. So I'm just wondering, at what point did we say the king has the power to appoint the next king upon their death?
That's what I said at the beginning of all this. It's Yahweh's duty to fucking like touch whoever is going to be the next king. So this guy Adaway or whatever the fuck his name is, he's he's doing it the wrong way.
Yeah, you did say that. Good job. King David said, "Summon to me the priest Zadok, the prophet Nathan, and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada." When they came before the king said to them, "Take with you the servants of your lord, and have my son Solomon ride on my own mule, and bring him down to Gihon. There let the priest Zadok and the prophet Nathan anoint him king over Israel. Then blow the trumpet and say, 'Long live King Solomon.' You shall go up following him. Let him enter and sit on my throne. He shall be king in my place, for I have appointed him to be ruler over Israel and over Judah." Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, answered the king, "Amen. May the Lord, the God of my lord the king, so ordain. As the Lord has been with my lord the king, so may he be with Solomon, and make his throne greater than the throne of my lord King David."
Solomon wants
so now
to be
what's
king?
happening here is, I don't know, but King David doesn't want to deal with the crisis at hand. He was like, "You know what? Put Solomon on the throne. Right. I'm out. Yeah. I ain't dealing with this shit."
And can somebody close the window? It's drafty in here.
It's fucking cold.
So the priest Zadok.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The prophet Nathan. All right, you can read it. There's a lot of words. There's a lot of big words in here. So the priest Zadok, the prophet Nathan, Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, and the Cherethites and the Pelethites went down and had Solomon ride on King David's mule and led him to Gihon. There the priest Zadok took the horn of oil from the tent and anointed Solomon. Then they blew the trumpet, and all the people said, Long live King Solomon. And all the people went up following him, playing on pipes and rejoicing with great joy, so that the earth quaked at their noise. Now this is how the king takes office.
This is a coronation.
That's some creepy back fucking room bullshit, man. Yeah. That fucking guy pulled. Yeah.
Plus, by the way, everyone knows Solomon.
Yeah. Yeah. What's going on behind you, man?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Ghosts?
It's cats.
Spook.
I've got 2 cats
they are
behind
spooky.
me running around, acting like assholes.
All right. Pick it up with verse 41, man. Keep your focus.
Adoniah and all the ghosts who were with him heard it as they finished feasting.
Guests. Start over, man.
What?
You said ghosts instead of guests.
Oh,
I got ghosts in your head, man.
you said ghosts. You said ghosts. All right.
Yeah, but then you said it also.
Okay. Adoniah and all the guests who were with him heard it as they finished feasting. When Joab heard the sound of the trumpet, he said, Why is the city in an uproar? While he was still speaking, Jonathan, son of the priest Abiathar, arrived. Adoniah said, Come in, for you are a worthy man, and surely you bring good news. Jonathan answered Adoniah, No, for our Lord King David had made Solomon king. The king has sent with him the priest Zadok, the prophet Nathan, Ben-Aniah, son of Jehoiada, and the Cherethites and the Pelethites, and they had him ride on the king's mule. The priest Zadok and the prophet Nathan have anointed him king at Gihon, and they have gone up from there rejoicing, so that the city is in an uproar. This is the noise that you heard. Solomon now sits on the royal throne. Moreover, the king's servants came to congratulate our Lord King David, saying, May God make the name of Solomon more famous than yours, and make his throne greater than your throne. The king bowed in worship on the bed, and went on to pray thus, Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who today has granted one of my offspring to sit on my throne, and permitted me to witness it. Wait a second. That's not really his offspring, is it? Solomon's not David's offspring.
Again, without the anchor chart
Okay.
of information, I'm not going
All
to.
right.
See, right now, people are rolling their eyes listening to this. They're like, "Damn it, we come to this to them for like knowledge, and this is what we get."
Oh, wait, this was Adoniah. Is that Adoniah's son, Solomon?
He was talking to Adoniah.
Yeah. Can I just say we sound like 2 fucking idiots tonight?
I'm telling you, man. That's all right. We'll get
All
through
right.
it, man. We'll get through
We'll
it.
get
92 will not go down in the history of best episodes.
It's an episode, you know.
Plus, it's laggy. You know, we got lag. We have technical difficulties. A lot of times you're speaking because I'm on janky fucking hotel Wi-Fi. Like I get like computer noises over your voice and stuff.
Right.
Like, so it's hard. Man.
All right.
It's hard. We're doing the best we can, man.
We're doing the best we can. I think in the annals of like our episodes, this will go down as one of them. All right. You want to read the last paragraph?
Then all the guests of Adoniah got up trembling and went their own ways. They're like, damn, we followed the wrong dude. They're like slipping out the back door.
They didn't even like walk forward. Like they all like backed out.
You ever see that meme of like Homer Simpson against the bushes,
Yeah,
and he kind of just like fades
yes.
into the bushes?
That's
what they
exactly
do.
what they did.
Adoniah, fearing Solomon, got up and went to grasp the horns of the altar. Solomon was informed. Adoniah is afraid of King Solomon. See, he has laid hold of the horns of the altar, saying, Let King Solomon swear to me first that he will not kill his servant with the sword. So Solomon responded, If he proves to be a worthy man, not one of his hairs shall fall to the ground. But if wickedness is found in him, he shall die. Then King Solomon sent to have him brought down from the altar. He came to do obeisance to King Solomon, and Solomon said to him, Go home. Oh. I mean, like, this guy had a pipe dream.
Yeah.
He went for it. It failed. Like, he wasn't, but I'd keep a close eye on this fucking guy.
I mean, I think he had more than a pipe dream. Like, he tried to, like, basically rewrite the Constitution. You know what I mean? You sound like Nikki Haley now, like defending Trump. Well, you know.
I'm a January 6th apologist. Yes. Well, he was fighting for what they thought were right. He thought was right. So, yeah. All right. That's the end of. So a good story, a good start to First Kings. I think.
Honestly, I think this is a good stopping off point. You know, I think we're both tired. I think this is, you know, like we were gonna put out an episode, but I think this is a good like cliffhanger to end this night on. What do you think?
I think that's perfectly okay with me. I'm just thinking about reading that. Like, this is just a story. Like, why is this like the root of an entire religion? It's just a story about ascension to a throne.
No, everything is about Yahweh. It's more than ascension to a throne. David's lineage isn't going to take over because David didn't follow the teachings of Yahweh. David became bigger than Yahweh. David became unholy. He started to make his own decisions. He turned away from Yahweh. And like that is what is constantly happening. So remember there were judges. Judges came about after periods of subjugation, and the periods of subjugation were caused by when they would become unholy. They would turn away from the teachings of Yahweh. So the whole book, because these people are fucking stiff necks, you understand? So the whole book has to be example after example after example after example after example after example of people like turning away from like Yahweh. And what happens to them?
I don't get it. Wait, I don't get it. Could you show me another example? All right, cool. So for those of you that like muddled through the last hour with us, thanks. But now we've this has been a technology prover, right? So we can do this in a pinch.
We
right?
can, but you know, it's not the same as like being in a room with you.
All right, on that creepy thought, I'm gonna bid adieu.
Scott's so weird, man. He can't accept like warmth and like, you know, he doesn't know how to handle it. It's, you know what, your state right now, look around your room, that's your heart, man. Just like, you know, like a transient, like, you know, you got to open up your heart, make it a home, Scott, make it a home, not a hotel room, not a one night hotel, you know, a home,
not a hotel.
Scott,
no tell.
Scott, look at me.
Yes.
Look in the camera. I love you, Scott. I love you, man. All right.
I love you too, man.
Oh, look at that. Very nice.
Fuck off. Talk to you later, man.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.